Your username is user, right?
Come again?
Your username is user, right?
That's not what it's supposed to show. I don't even know why it's showing just user, but yeah, that's me.
Okay, all right. I'll make you a host.
Yeah, I've not used Zoom in a very, very long time, to be honest.
Can you start recording?
Yeah, I have started the recording already.
Okay.
All right, I should share my screen, right?
Yeah,
Um, I hope everyone can hear me though.
yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, that makes sense. All right. So, first of all, I would like to, can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's showing starting. Yeah, I can see now.
You can see my chart, right?
Yeah,
All right, cool. So first of all, I would like to appreciate every one of you for joining um the Zoom session. Let me clear out my charts so that we don't have anything on it. All right. So this is good. I would like to start by saying that most of what if you guys have been able to watch any of the engulfing courses which has been out there, right? Most of what I'm going to be sharing, in fact, everything I'm going to be sharing is not going to be exactly new. Um, but it works. I can tell you 100% it works, and that's what I'm using, right? Most times when a lot of people have been hitting me in my DMs recently and asking me what courses to watch. Um, and I've been gracious enough to tell you guys, go watch this, go watch that. And most times I don't get feedback, maybe because no one really goes to watch those videos again. You see, one thing that you need to understand, and I had to learn the hard way, is that when you want to learn something, you have to um put your mind to learning it in totality and try it until it fails. The sad part about the industry is most people have been indoctrinated into the mindset that everybody's a scam out there. So that's why a lot of people don't trust the information that they get. So they don't take time to assimilate. They don't take time to really understand like what they are learning, and they don't take time to really grasp it and apply it. You see, I've been trading the engulfing system for a little, I think we're in March now, so this is going to be like 9 months. I came from an SNL background in trading, and I was one of the people who, I don't know if you guys know Arfax. I was under his mentorship when he was still teaching, right? Before he went silent. And I learned from him. And sadly, his course is also out there, but a lot of people don't get any value from it. But those are the same things that he taught us then, and I applied it and I was profitable, yeah. The reason why I switched from that SNL to engulfing was because um SNL was giving me um too much um in terms of stop losses, yeah, you take trades and you have like 50 pips stop loss, 75 pips stops, but then it was effective, right? It was effective. And so a lot of people have that information out there and they don't learn anything from it. And because they are not taking time to really study and back test, right? What I'm going to teach you right now is not something that is so new. It's not new, to be honest. If you've watched the engulfing videos that are out there, it's not new. But I'm just going to reiterate this thing and and show you guys examples so that you can use that as a foundation for whatever you're going to do from now henceforth, right? So I was telling the host of this webinar, by the way, I don't know your name. Can you pronounce your name?
It's Nawaf.
No,
And
wow.
you
Yeah,
did.
you're a great guy. I really do appreciate you. I don't know you. I've not met you before. You came into my DMs. Did you even text me? I think it was on a group, right? And then
Yeah,
you asked for webinar, and I considered that because a lot of people have been hitting me in my DMs, and I felt like okay, this will be a form of service to you guys to do this, and but I didn't want to be the front and center of the whole thing because, like I said, everybody thinks everybody's a scammer, right? So I'm not trying to put myself out there as one of those people. So, and that's why I insisted that you handle the whole thing, and you have done a great job. So well done. Other thing before I start officially is after this call, I would plead that that group be, terminated. I told you that I don't want anything that has to do with, I told you that I want that group to be, dismantled. Everybody like close that group immediately after this call. The whole idea of the group was to, teach you guys, to get people who wanted to be taught and then teach you guys. But after that group, I don't want to have anything to do with that group. Immediately after this call, I'm gonna go out of that group. If you guys choose to keep that group on, that's fine. But there's no point having too many groups. There are a lot of groups out there, right? And no value, and it's just like the same recycling the same thing. So there's no point, right? So I just want to put it out there, and we can move from there. By the way, good morning. It's still morning here, UK time. I don't know where you guys are from, wherever you guys are from. I know some of you is quite late at night. Some people it's early, so early in the morning, and I applaud your sacrifice in wanting to learn. So I'll just go right into it. I wouldn't want this webinar to be anything so long. Like I don't want it to be so long because the truth is engulfing is so simple that you don't have to, there's no liquidity grab, there's no imbalance, there's no all that type of thing. I'm not saying that those things don't work. I'm just saying like engulfing is pretty much straight to the point, right? It's just about marking the right zones and what you're expecting in those zones, right? So, like I said, I come from an SNL background, and SNL we usually utilize, breakout, right? If you know anything about Arfax kind of SNL, not what is right now all on YouTube. I think what's his name again? AKFX, not that style, not the whole open and close candles, all those things, right? Is basically SNR is basically you have a breakout. For example, um, you have this breakout right here. You have this breakout right here, and you expect that when price comes back, it will come back, retest, and move, right? So we consider more breakout, but that's not that's not. I'm just telling you this because I came from foundation of SNR, and this is how we do it, right? So you implement those same things in the whole candlestick analysis when it comes to engulfing, right? So what I'm trying to say is when you want to prioritize your engulfings, yeah, it's good to mark all of the engulfings, but you of course you know that not all the engulfings are gonna hold, right? So you don't just pick out any random engulfing that does not have any form of breakouts or whatever and just trade it like that, right? You have to have a reason behind it, right? And that's one thing that I love about the engulfing system, right? The engulfing system is such that it's more logical, in my own opinion. It's more logical, and what I mean by that is, engulfing simply means that either a buyer or a seller has taken over one another. So if you're looking for a bearish engulfing, you know that whoever bought price at this point to push price up, when this guy comes in and takes out all the others, he's gonna want to protect. He's gonna want to protect whatever orders he placed here to continue pushing price lower, right? So is a tussle between the buyers and the sellers. Basically, that's what engulfing is. A tussle between the buyers and the sellers, and you want to see which one prevails, and you want to trade in line with the one that is prevailing. For example, a lot of people have been looking for sell, even I've seen what the daily is doing all from here up until this place. I promise you, I didn't look for one sell. I've been buying. Like I've been buying and buying. The reason being because there's no point looking for a sell, especially when you're looking at the high time frame when you have nothing that indicates a sell. Okay. Most people want to buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. Those things are fancy, but that's not what gives you money. If you had bought here, I'm still holding a position from here, for Christ's sake. That's like how many pips? Let's calculate. I'm still holding a buy from down there, even if I've taken like up to 60 to 70% of that position. I'm still holding a buy from right here, right? That's over 1,684. Am I correct? I think so. Pips, right? So why do I need to start looking for sales when I don't have anything indicating sales? You guys need to get off Instagram. You guys need to get off Instagram and really just focus on yourself, right? What's happening? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Just making it clear. I don't understand. No, what's happening? Can you still see my chart?
Yeah, we can see the chart and we can hear you
Okay,
too.
okay. It was for me. My apologies, right? So what I'm trying to say is, and this is where direction comes to play. Now let me show you guys why I've been buying, right? It's so important. This is the daily time frame. I mess with the daily and H4 for my directions, basically. I seldom look at the weekly. I seldom look at the weekly. I'm more focused on the daily and a H4 time frame because I love to intraday. And then if it comes to swinging, I can the daily time frame can also tell you if price is going to continue, right? So I love the daily and the H4 time frame. I don't really mess around with the weekly time frame. I only do that once in a while just to understand the overall perspective of the market, really. But daily and H4 time frames are my major go-to time frames. And the H4 time frame is a big part of my trading, a big part of my trading because it really is what gives me the confirmation of what price is doing. Now, like I said, this is a daily time frame, right? This is the daily time frame. This is an engulfing on the daily time frame. Do we all agree? Sorry, I have a cold. Do we all agree that this is a daily engulfing? Hello?
Yeah, we agree.
Yes, 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 that's correct.
Yeah, because I want to be sure that we all have the same idea on engulfing, right? So that I don't, you know. So yeah, so this is an engulfing on daily time. What I first try to do is when I come to the chart, right? When I see where price is, let's assume, let me take this out, for example. Um, let me use my replay tool. By the way, you guys should get a premium trading view. It will help you a lot to back test, right? So do that. All right. So sorry. So let's assume that we have um price is here, right? Price is here on the daily time frame. If you want to confirm whether this will hold, first of all, one time frame lower really is what tells us whether that zone is gonna hold or not. And by one time frame lower, you have to look for what? A breakout, right? It's so simple. Breakout, pullback, entry is so simple. So if you want to determine your direction, your overall direction, for example, when you use the daily zone, right? You have to go to the H4 time frame to look for a breakout. You have to be patient enough for you to determine whether or not price is going to price is going to hold or price is about to turn or the direction is about to change, right? So the first things that I do is I mark out my daily, if I'm going to use my daily zones, right? I'm going to mark out my daily support, I'm sorry, engulfing buys or for the sake of not calling engulfing, let's say supply and demand because it's pretty much the same thing if you really look at it, right? So I'm going to mark out my sell zone, my buy zone, prices here. And the next thing I'm going to do is look for the possible sell zone. So this is one zone. This, in my opinion, is another zone because it's an EF, right? I wouldn't really consider this as a zone because of it didn't really engulf here, right? It didn't really engulf here. You want to look for the closest zones, right? So if I look at if price is here and I mark my um engulfing buy zone, I'm definitely going to look for where price is likely to come to, and this is my engulfing sell zone, right? And the next thing I want to do to confirm that the daily time frame is going to actually get to this point, I want to what? I want to look for H4 to confirm that. And what I'm looking for is an EF. And this is where engulfing field is the most important aspect. This dude that I used to follow on Instagram, he basically puts in his bio that engulfing is good, but engulfing field is better, right? So you have to have that at the back of your mind. As much as engulfing on its own is powerful, but what really validates that zone is the engulfing field, right? So I'm looking for an engulfing field more than anything, even on the lower time frame, even on the lower time frames. Of course, I'm not going to teach you guys lower time frames, but on the higher time frames, you can easily go back to the lower time frame and replicate the same thing, right? So here is our engulfing cell. Do we agree? This was our last engulfing cell in the zone, in the daily zone, right? And what happened? We have an engulfing field right here, right? So now this is a confirmation that price is about to push. Price is about to push and is going to get to this point on the daily time frame because we have an engulfing field that gives us what? A directional bias. Now remember, we're just talking about directions right now. So engulfing field is simply this, right? If you look at the line chart, we have this, this. I told you I came from an SNL background. So this is literally what we are seeing here. I can go to the line chart. You can see the same thing. Price pushed up here, pushed down, pushed up, broke it. Now we're looking for what? A buy. It's as simple as that, guys. It's so simple. It's as simple as this, right? So what a takeaway that you should, I think I should annotate. Guys, I've not done any live session in a very. I don't think I've done any live session, especially not with this amount of people in my life before. So this is kind of new. So what basically I'm trying to say is, um, engulfing field, for the sake of time, we're just going to use EF confirms, confirms our direction. Is this clear enough?
Yeah, quick question, Jay, right here.
Yes,
So
go ahead.
the confirmation should only happen one time lower, or it can be two time lowers.
One time lower is the strongest confirmation in my opinion, right? That's why I don't really love to um what do they call this now? Refine zones as much. Because okay, let's get I'm glad you asked that question, right? Let's get into the whole aspect of refinement. Because if you're going to use two time frame lower, right? If you're going to use two time frames lower, for example, now I hope you know that the what do they call it now? Um, in
Precisely.
respect to no, in respect to time frames and how they work. I don't know if any of you have gone through any course that talks about multi-time frame analysis. But if you
Yeah,
haven't, let me just try to touch on that, right? I
sure.
hope you know that when you're doing that, right, that simply means that your time frame confirmation or your time frame sequence has changed because now you're going to if let's assume we do a refinement of this zone. So this is now a H4 zone in a daily zone, right? So even if pardon me, even if we have like price touching our H4 zone and now we're going to H1 for our confirmation, right? we're going to H1 for our confirmation. In this case, it even played out really well. So if you had used one time frame confirmation, H1 time confirmation, right, it even did go well, right? But the thing is, my problem with that is if you're gonna use H1 time frame, you're doing H4 to H4 zone. Now, permit me to go to use my replay tool again. Okay, sorry guys. I think I'm really bad at teaching, right? So I don't really know how to teach. So just forgive me and just try to get as much value as you can, right? All right.
I
So
think it's doing
here
good.
we have a H4 zone, right? This is a refined. Sorry, um, I didn't really mark it the best way. Or I should have. Right? This is an EF. Yeah, this is an EF. We have also an EG right here, right? So this is why I don't really love. Okay, this really played out well. If you even if you did it like this, if you had done this, this really played out well, right? This really played out well. I'm going to look for an example where it didn't play out well. Okay, good. Now, this is why I told you guys that it's important that you look for an EF rather than just an EG. Now, if you are just taking this EG by, for example, right? Let's assume you took this because this is an engulfing by on the H1, right? So it's supposed to confirm that, okay, now we're going to push up on yada, yada, yada. And then this is what happened. Price respected it, where the little tapped into the opposing H1 zone. In my opinion, between this zone and this zone, okay, not in my opinion, let me ask this question, right? Just so that I get how much you have understood what I've said so far. Forgive me, guys. I think I'm coming out with something. In your opinion, rather, which one do you think? Forget about. Of course, we already know that price went up. It was a bullish trend from here, but forget about all that. From what you have known before now, which do you feel is stronger? Is it this engulfing sell, or this engulfing buy? Which do you think, in your opinion, should be stronger?
The sell zone.
Why?
Because
It
maybe the
had
price is in
strong
downtrend.
downside.
So, sorry?
It had a stronger move downside.
Mm,
Um,
not
because
really.
first, because the overall trend is a downtrend, and then we have
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's really it, right? So you have to be, guys, man. I'm gonna tell you one thing and one thing for sure, right? Trading in line with the trend always win. Always win. This is why, guys. I promise you that there's some setups that I take that are not that I don't use confirmation. I only stick to the fact that the trend is bullish. There are a lot of trades that I took this week. By the way, this week was fantastic, bro. Like, oh my. But let's leave that aside. There are a lot of trades that I take that I don't necessarily look for my lower time frame confirmation because the truth is, even with my lower time frame confirmation, it doesn't give me that every single time. So I may end up losing the trade. I'm sorry, missing out on the trade. Um, just because I was looking for my confirmation. And sometimes, my gold is so crazy that it moves so fast that you may not be able to continue, the trend as it were. But I was able to figure out a continuation setup, and that's why I think it was last week I was telling you guys about in the group continuation setup are the most easier or easiest setup to catch. Because in those setups, you don't necessarily need confirmation to take those trades. You just look for you could refine your zones in such instances and just take it directly from that level and just go. But I mean, let me not get ahead of myself, right? So what I'm saying in essence, the reason why this is stronger than this is because this is just beginning to form. This is a reaction. And by the way, every engulfing zone is valid and price reacts from such engulfing zone. Every single engulfing zone that you see, price reacts from them. It doesn't matter how little or how big the reactions are. The reality is every engulfing zone has a reaction, no matter how small. So take that into consideration, right? So that's why every engulfing zone is valid, but you have to know exactly what you're looking for in such engulfing zone, right? So now in this instance, I would still be looking for sell. I would have been in this cell. Yes, I would have been in this cell, even though we had an engulfing buy here. I would have looked for my confirmation here and so reasons being the trend is still bearish, right, guys? Look at this. The trend is very much bearish, right? So just because you have an engulfing candle does not mean there are a lot of examples. If you look at the chart where engulfing candles alone fail, a lot of examples where you have engulfing candles forming but then breaking. An engulfing candle formed here, came, retested, went a little, but the trend was still bearish, right? So what did it do? It came back to react to this level. So the reaction of this engulfing candle was just to come and retrace back into the zone and continue pushing down, right? So it's important that you understand that. Look at this engulfing buy. The trend is still bearish from here, right? This engulfing buy happened and then a lot of people would have been looking for buys, right? And if we're being honest, yes, it held. It sorry, not held, but it reacted. We had a good reaction. This candle, this was news. Still reacted, give us sign that okay, it probably would go up, and then guess what? It fell, right? Why? Because the trend will always win. The trend will always win. So you guys trying to look for buys, trying to look for sells, just be patient, right? And just follow the trend. Just be patient. First things first, when you mark your zones, right? When you mark your zone, whatever zone, for you to confirm that the trend is about to change or should change, is look for an EF, an engulfing field. An engulfing field, like I said here, confirms direction change. Let me put it this way, confirms direction change or change in direction, whatever way you want to put it, right? Engulfing field confirms that. So you have no business looking for a buy here if we have no EF. Now, what I was trying to explain before I got carried away is if you refine your zone, right? Here, and I'm going to look for a better example, but just for illustration purposes, right? This is the daily time frame zone that we are in, but we find it down to the H4 time frame, right? Now, for us to confirm if the H4 time frame will hold, what time frame do we look for an EF on?
H1,
Come again?
H1 time frame.
H1. Good. So for us to confirm if this H4 will hold, we are looking for what? An EF to happen. And if by judging by this engulfing alone, you take this trade, you would have lost, right? Because it didn't really give any, except if you're scalping or whatever. But where would you have put your stop loss? Although if you were using a smaller time frame, of course, you'll know that, right? If you're using that system in terms of smaller time frame. But if you're just judging based on this alone, you probably would have taken your trade from here and then put your stop loss here. It didn't even go to 1 to 0.5 or whatever, and then it came back to pick you up. But we're not talking about entries, right? So for you to say, okay, price is going to, because just because price has reached a daily zone does not mean that it's going to react and go all the way to the next daily. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Do you guys understand what I just said?
Yeah, we need a confirmation for it to
Yeah.
go to the next zone.
Good, good. So just because it reacted to a daily does not mean, oh, now we're about to get like 1,000 pips to the next daily. No. Of course, you know that there are things like roadblocks, right? We'll touch into that a little. I don't really have notes, so I'm not really organized with my teaching right now. I really apologize. Maybe I should have prepared better, right? I didn't know it was going to be this difficult to teach. So what I'm saying in essence is Just because price is in a daily zone does not mean that it automatically go to the next daily zone. So you have to have that at the back of your mind. For it to go to the next daily zone, what needs to happen? A H4 EF, right? A H4 EF has to happen. So you cannot go to the H1, you cannot refine it to H4 and expect that the H1 is what will determine that price would react and take you to the next daily zone. Why? Because if you're playing from a H4 buy zone, your next target will be an H4 sell zone, the operation of time frame. Do you guys understand what I just said?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so important that
Can
you understand it.
repeat?
Sorry, what did you say? Your network is kind of bad, or I
Uh,
don't know.
can you repeat?
Guys, can you hear him? I for one cannot hear him clearly.
Yeah, he's breaking, but he's asking to repeat your last statement.
Okay. I'm gonna go over it. I'm gonna go over it. All right, cool. Let me go over it again. I said, right? If you mark a zone, and this is for you who asked about if we can go 2 time frame lower. The only time you're permitted to go 2 time frame lower, in my opinion, and like I think I should have said this at the beginning of this call. I'm only teaching what I trade, right? So my opinion may not necessarily carry weight in terms of the way you trade. So this is not me coming as someone who has figured out the holy grail. Please, let's have that at the back of our mind that this is just a dude who trades and he's teaching what works for him, right? There are a million ways to trade this market. So I just wanted to put it out there. So I'm not here, trying to prove that I'm a guru or whatever. But what I'm trying to say in essence is, in my opinion, right? The only time you're gonna go 2 time frame lower is if you have refined your zone. So for example, we have a daily zone, right? We have a daily zone, which is this one. For those of you who are just coming in, let me just show you guys, right? This was our daily zone. This was our daily zone. And then we refined it down to the H4 time frame, which was this zone, right? So the only time we want to be looking for a H1 confirmation on a daily zone is if we have refined it to a H4. And then now we can play off of that H4 zone using H1. So what are we looking for on a H1? We're looking for an EF to happen. Does that make sense?
Yes, Jack. Quick question here. If let's say we
All right,
have a
go ahead.
H1 engulfing fail zone, then
Yeah.
the exit will be a daily direction or it will be an H4 zone.
Sorry, come again. I didn't get that.
Let's say we have refined the zone, right, from daily to
Yeah.
H4, and then on
Yeah.
H4 right side, I get a confirmation on a H1, which is engulfing fail, right? So where will be the
Yeah.
exit for that situation now?
Good question. That's what I was trying to answer. Now, if you're playing off of a H4 zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I use more of H4 zones than daily zones. Let me put it out there. I use more of H4 zones than daily zones. Reasons being, it's like I said, H4 time frame is a really, really dynamic time frame, and there's a lot of information and there's a lot of tips that you could catch off of the H4 time frame. So even if I mark the daily time frame, I refine to H4, but I don't refine H4 to H1. Okay, I don't do that. I just take it off of my H4 time frame based on my lower time frame confirmation directly, right? So your question is, if I heard you correctly, if you take it off of a H1 confirmation, are you expected to take profit at the next daily? Now, this is where I'm going to tell you absolutely no. Reasons being, if you know the operation of time frames, you know that when you enter on a daily on a H4 zone, where you expected to take profit.
H4.
Good. So why? Because H4 to H4, daily to daily, H1 to H1, weekly to weekly, right? That's how we are being taught about time frames and how they work. And that's how it works, really. That's how it has worked for me. So when I take my position I don't know if you guys have noticed my screenshots or when I post my charts, right? If I post my entry, for example, and then probably price goes maybe 100 pips, and probably I am reposting that same chart, you would realize that some of my positions that I placed on the first post that I made at the entry level, like half of them have been taken off, or 80% or 90%. The reason I'm of taking off some of those positions is because it has hit my next H4 zone, right? And H4 to H4 has my goal has been accomplished, right? So that's my first take profit, the first zone. But the reason why I'm going to keep holding is because daily has not reached the next daily zone, right? So I'm not oblivious of the fact that H4 is what? The roadblock to daily. And price could react from the H4 zone, come back to my zone, and then take more orders and continue. So I don't want to be in a position where I've been taken out on break even and then I'm looking for a new entry. No, I'm going to take some positions, some portions in my trade off of the next H4 zone. So usually what I'm trying to say is I play from H4 to H4. The only time I'm going to keep holding like this week is because there was no zone, number one. Number two, trend was really still bullish, really, really bullish, right? And for some reason, there has been a fundamental aspect of it that is supporting my trade, right? So I'm more confident to hold those positions for a longer period of time. Does that make sense? So if you're taking off of a H4 zone confirmation, which is H1 EF, your next point of call to monitor, take note, to monitor is your H4 sell zone. You may not necessarily take your profit at the H4 sell zone, but it's very important that you monitor those zones because price can react to those zones and come down. And this is how a lot of these Instagram traders buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, because they're selling from zone to zone. They're buying from zone to zone. Does that make sense? But if you're more trend inclined and more disciplined and you want more money, I would advise that you take the overall trend and just keep buying, 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 or selling, selling, selling. Not try to look for sell and buy, sell and buy, sell and buy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense, man.
Okay, so do we have any other questions before I go further?
I have.
Okay, go
Okay,
on,
go
please.
ahead.
Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear
Come
you.
again?
Yeah. So you use H1 for a TC or a direct user confirmation entry inside the H4 zone?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Do you as a H1 as a TC trade control?
That's the thing, right? I've not really studied. A lot of you guys come to my DMs and ask me TC, TC. I don't even know what that is because I've not watched King whoever video, right? So I don't know what TC means. But this is just take what I'm trying to teach you and just understand it for what it is, right? Don't try to mix too many concepts together. You get confused. Okay? Hello? Hello?
I have
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, so when we're looking for confirmation on the H1 time frame, so
Yeah.
are we looking at the current market price for the engulfing fail, or we're looking like far back to what happened before?
No, absolutely not. The current market price. Because take it this way, right? If price is creating engulfing sell, let's assume the price is on a downtrend, right? And it keeps creating engulfing sell, engulfing sell, engulfing sell, and it gets to a buy zone, right? Now, what that simply means is that people are keep buying and buying and buying. So when you see an EF, the last EF, even if it's in the zone or outside of the zone, the last EF or the last engulfing that happened to enter that zone. Let me give you an example, right? Now, this we sold from here an engulfing sell, right? There was this kind of an engulfing sell here, engulfing sell here. What this means is that people bought here, right? People, I'm sorry, people sold here, people sold here, people sold around here, people kept selling. So for people who bought here to take out those people that sold here, it means that the buyers right now are willing to take control of the market. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
once you have an EF, and that's why the concept of um um SNR, the Arfax way, comes into play. When you have this, now this is a confirmation that what we want to buy. And those people who kept selling here, the buyers right here are now beginning to take control of the market. Does that make sense?
Yeah, does.
So we're not looking for anything crazy, maybe we're not looking for anything crazy. Price has to take out this first, price has to take out before. No. The last sell, like whether in the zone or outside of the zone, because sometimes the EF may not, the EG may not happen. It may just happen maybe here and go down all the way. For example, let's assume that this is a zone, right? Um, what's the best example? Okay, let's just assume that there's a zone right here, right? Oh, this is not even a good zone. Okay, yeah. Let's assume that there's a zone right here and price had not gotten into the zone, but it created an EG. So the moment price comes here, we're expecting the last. Just put it at the back of your mind. We're expecting a breakout. So it literally is going to be the last engulfing buy before it taps the
Yeah.
zone, or it would form inside of the zone, whatever and however. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So that clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chair, I
Okay.
have
So
a
any
question.
further question? Please
I
ask
have a
questions, guys.
question.
Ask
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. Can you hear me, right, Jay?
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a question, right? So just now you said that the last engulfing fail zone to confirm the direction is the nearest engulfing cell zone, right? In this case.
Right. Right.
So let's say the price has come into your H4 refined zone, right? And you are looking for
Yeah.
confirmation, but we
Yeah.
just have a EG, which is reaction. So
Yeah.
because the problem with me in this zone is, right, I try
Yeah.
to buy and sell, right? And I always hit SL because I'm not sure.
Exactly what I was
Uh,
saying.
yeah,
Go ahead,
so
go ahead. Sorry for cutting you
so
short.
here I see a engulfing cell zone within your refined zone, which is not a confirmation.
Yeah,
So I still can continue the downtrend, right? Down direction.
exact. That's why I asked that question. That's why I asked that question. I asked you this question earlier. I said, between this zone, right? This cell zone, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Between this cell zone and this buy zone, which one is stronger? That's why I asked that question. You always want to ask that question, and you have to have a reason for your answer. So I'm going to ask that question again. Between this cell zone and this buy zone, which is stronger?
Of course, sell zone, but then the price is in overall buy zone, right? Which is from higher time
You
frame.
don't see. Let me explain something to you. A
Mhm.
zone
Depends on CMB.
is just good, right? Let me explain something to you. A zone is just a zone. Because the truth is, if you're gonna mark every zone and expect that those zones will hold, you're not gonna trade so much. Like you're not gonna be confident to hold any trade, right? Because okay, look at this. We got let's see. Okay, we got a sell zone right here, right? We also have a buy zone right here. We got another sell zone right here. So if you are so concerned about, oh, it's a zone, it's a zone, you're not going to confidently take this buy here because you're going to assume that this zone is, I mean, this is a small distance, right? You're going to assume, oh, this zone is going to hold. This zone is going to hold. So you're not going to want to buy here. You're not going to want to sell, of course, we're not looking for sales yet, but you're not going to want to buy here. And so you're going to miss this entire move because you're going to say, okay, we have a zone here. So, anything can happen. The truth is, it would react, but the truth is, once you have the direction on lock, you can confidently hold this buy up until this level,
Oh,
until you look for, until anything further tells you, okay, it's about to switch. So a zone is just going to continue being a zone until there's a confirmation telling you that, oh, it's about to change or it has changed. Am I telling you to ignore this zone? No, I'm not telling you to ignore this zone, right? I'm just saying that once you have really, really okay. Look at this, for example, right? This is a buy zone. Do we agree? Do we agree
Yes.
that this is a buy zone? So what would really tell you, why would you, that mean, which means you're not gonna want to sell here when this engulfing happens. You're not gonna want to sell here. Why? Because in your mind, oh, we're already in a buy zone, or you're supposed to buy. But the truth is, a zone is just a zone and it will continue being a zone until there's a reaction that tells you otherwise. Guys, forgive me, I'm coughing really bad this morning. Okay, so you focus on the stronger zone. So even if we are in this buy zone, right, your focus is going to be on what is price currently doing. Already we have an EF indicating lower pricing, indicating that price want to continue going lower, right? So what are you going to do? Keep selling until you see a reason to buy. So even if we get to this zone, bro, and you see an engulfing sell, you can take it directly or you can look for a confirmation, right? I'm not teaching that, but you can look for a confirmation and just keep selling. I tell you the truth, if you do this 10 times, you're gonna have 7 winning trades. I guarantee you that, bro. I
Yeah,
guarantee you that.
it makes sense now.
I guarantee you. 6 to 7 wins and probably 2 to 3 losses. I guarantee you. So this is what I'm trying to say. So just because you mark the zone or you saw a zone does not mean it's just a potential opportunity, but not an opportunity. A zone is a potential opportunity, but never an opportunity. The opportunity has to present itself before you look for, you know, a reason to continue in line with whatever is gonna happen. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes. So in simple words, if I can say, right, until I don't see a EF for confirmation, I still can continue the main direction.
Good. Until you see an EF, you see an an EF confirming a directional change, comma, keep in line with the current trend. Does this make sense for everybody?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Has it changed anything in terms of your mindset towards trading?
Absolutely. Mhm.
Good, good. So are we getting value, guys? I don't want to waste you guys' time and my time, and you guys don't get anything.
Yeah,
I
of
am.
course, it's high valuable because most of the times we watch the recorded videos, right? But then we don't get answers to our doubts, which I think it's getting clear here.
Good, good. I'm glad you're saying that, right? The major takeaway, right? And this is like um the truth is, guys, this is like 70% of the way I trade. Just having the idea, just this idea alone switched everything off for me. I'm sorry, on for me. I was also when I started trading engulfing, I think 9 months ago, 8 months ago, thereabout. I was so keen on trying to buy, trying to sell, trying to buy, trying to sell, like every Instagram trader that I was seeing out there who traded engulfing. Now, I'm not trying to say it doesn't work. One person that I know that it works for a lot is Kebab Ahmed. I don't know if you guys know that dude. He knows how to manipulate the lower time frame so much, and he benefits from it a lot, right? So, but of course, his pip count is not so much. I think he teaches that 20 once you get to 20 pips, you should take something off. And most times, like for me, my when I was trading SNR with gold, my stop loss was about 50 pips, 40 something pips, But then when I got to engulfing and the way I use the lower time frames, my stop loss never goes above 20 pips, right? So if you're gonna tell me that I'm gonna enter and in the 20 pips I should take out some position, that means that it wasn't a profitable trade if you ask me, because that's barely a 1-to-1. I try to keep my RR to 1-to-3 at least before I take anything off of my position. Because RR is so important, but you don't have to focus on 1-to-10, 1-to-20. You're not the owner of the market. No one is going to be giving you 1-to-20 every single time. You don't have that skill. Nobody does, if you ask me, right? So just have that at the back of your mind. 1-to-2, 1-to-3 is good, really, really good. And with a 70% win rate, come on, bro. You can flip any shitty account. I don't know. I was speaking with somebody texted me and was asking about how, you know, my account size, how I was able to grow my account or whatever, whatever. And the first thing I told him is go get a prop firm. If you have the skill, go to get 100K, 200K prop firm, withdraw 10%, 20% from that account. You're already having an account for yourself, right? And then you can now divide that account into three. Now you have your prop firm, which is number one, you're still trading it. Number two, you have a flip account. That's the one that you're willing to lose $1,000, so you try to flip it. And then you have your conservative account, which is like kind of like your investing or investment account where you trade conservatively. So that's how I do it. So there are times where if I lose on my conservative account, I'm probably losing 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, depending on how much I'm risking on that trade. But if I lose on my prop firm, same thing, 0.5%, 1%, 2%, whatever. But if I lose on my flip account, I probably lose 50% of that account, which I'm very, very okay with because that's what I signed for in the first place. But don't try to put all your money in one account and try to flip it. That's insane. You're not the owner of this market, guys. Even if you did it once or twice, bro, they're gonna wipe you out because you're literally risking 50 to 100% sometimes. Like for me, I risk 50% of that account. And as much as this week was a blessing to me in terms of that account because most of my trades hit TP, and I really, really did enjoy trading this week, but it doesn't happen every single time. So let's be realistic. Just because you're a trader and you see a lot of crazy things out there does not mean that you should carry that same mindset. Of course, there are a lot of bullshit out there, like we all know that. So I mean, just be true to yourself. And at some point, learning engulfing, I had to deactivate not deactivate really, but I had to stay off Instagram because it was messing with my psychology. I mean, you see a lot of people, trading crazily and buying and selling, and you're wondering how did they buy, how did they sell, and you begin to question yourself and question your strategy, question whatever. And at the end of the day, you were on the right track, but because this guy distracted you, I mean, you begin to tweak it until you're lost all over, and then the whole journey begins from scratch. Okay, so find a system that works for you. Keep implementing it. Don't worry about it. Even if you're making $10, $20, $50, $100, $1,000. It doesn't matter, man. Don't compare yourself with anybody. Just try to be true to yourself and try to grow. The most important aspect of trading for me is the growth that I've experienced within the last 1-2 years. Is so crazy. So yeah, that's that for that. I just thought I should chip that in. Okay, so do we have any other questions before we move ahead?
I have. Hello.
Bro, yeah,
I think
hello.
your voice is
Yeah.
breaking.
Am I audible?
Yeah, now okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear you now.
Can you tell about news trading? How to trade at the time of news?
Guys, forget about news trading. Forget about news trading. Just because I trade news, like I said, right? The truth is, nobody really has the key, as it were, to news trading. Let me put it this way. But what I've noticed, and the reason why I'm confident enough to trade news, is because number one, the account I'm trading news on, I am willing to lose everything on that account for whatever happens on that account. I'm willing to lose everything. I don't trade per firm news. I don't trade my conservative account on news, only my flipping account. That's number one. Number two, what I've noticed with gold is Let me look for an example of news that happened. Guys, this was a news. This was a news event that pushed price. Obviously, you can see this was a news, and this is news too. Now, what do you notice here? What do you notice here before this massive push upward? For you who is asking about news, answer me. What do you notice?
Engulfing
EG buy,
buy.
Come again?
EG buy,
Yeah, the buy and the sell. This is the sell, right? This is the buy. These are both.
yes,
These are news event. But what do you notice? All right, I'm just gonna answer that. Now, when news wants to happen, and one thing I've noticed, there were times where I'll be in a buy position, right? And let's say news is about to come out maybe in the next 3 hours, and then the trend is bullish and I'm buying, right? And I'm just holding my position. The reason why I'm not scared of holding my position is because when it comes to gold, every time there's a news event, they're gonna push price to a level, a zone, an engulfing level before pushing price lower. This is an example. This is a zone I marked. Look at one. I hope you know that this is news. One, two. This was a news event. Event three. This was a news event. Four. This is a news event. Five. This was a news event. Where did it react from? It reacted from here. Are you seeing this engulfing cell? So whenever news wants to happen, right? Whenever news wants to happen, right? They're gonna drive price to a zone. They're gonna drive. It doesn't just happen from a random price point. They're gonna drive price to a particular zone before pushing price to whatever direction. So if the news is about to go, and this is how I trade it, right? If if let's assume that the news before now I bought here, I'm gonna hold this to the next sell zone because I know that within the time frame that I bought or I took a position here, they're gonna drive price to a nearest zone. So you would realize that maybe 15 minutes to the time of the news, you will see a massive push to a zone. Take note of that. That zone is probably a zone that they want to sell from. Like you have seen here, they sold one. Even this buy, I hope you know that this was a news event, right? You can easily know when it's a news event. They are massive pushes. Are you seeing what happened here? So they're going to push price to a particular zone before taking price to the opposing side. So you could easily just go to the M1 or M5 time frame and look for an EG or EF and just take it directly. I'm not really one who would advise you to trade news, right? Because news has done me dirty too. I'm not saying that, oh, I'm a master of it. Sometimes I'm just fortunate, right? And I lose trades too. I lose just because I don't post my losses. Of course, I'm profitable. Of course, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Like I said, I have like a 60 to 70% win rate guaranteed, right? So for me, so um I can confidently, just take this position and not feel anything because I have a good RR and I have a good, you know, win rate. So like I said, if you want to improve on your win rate, right, focus on trade, focus on trend trades and just kill it from there, right? Just kill it from there. So any further questions?
Yeah,
Jay,
please.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
quick question, right? Just to reconfirm, right? For the direction,
Yeah,
right? When you mark the zone from H4 or let's say daily zone, right? And on the right side,
yeah,
you only go one time frame lower, which is H4, to find engulfing
yeah,
fail. That's it, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. I think I'm good now. You can continue for the next topic.
Okay, who else Do um we have any further question that
Yeah,
someone wants me to
just
ask?
a question, please. Do you trade only gold?
Absolutely only gold. I don't like the way the other trades, the other currencies move, to be honest. I trade only gold. And
I
gold
had
is
a
enough.
question. Does
Go
the
ahead, sir.
session matters? Like
Sorry?
exchange session?
Come again?
Do you trade in Asian session?
I trade whatever session as long as I see my setup. If you have noticed recently, right, a lot of the major moves happen pre-London. So I'm not gonna say, oh, it's Asian session, these guys are not, nah. I'm not sleeping. They're up, I'm up. When I see they want to move price, I enter. If I lose, that's fine. You lose some, you win some. That's the reality of trading. And once again, guys, one thing again, guys, don't be scared of losing. Don't be scared of losing, guys. It's part of the game. Like, for real, it's part of the freaking game, man. So why are you scared of losing? Whatever position, I told somebody was I don't know who, if he is on this call. He told me, I posted one of my trades and he was like, um he saw the trade but he was scared of picking it, or he wasn't sure, right? And then he did not take that trade and he ended up going over 300 pips for a trade that you were scared of taking, right? So, and I told him, I said, I would rather lose a trade than to miss a trade. I'm more pissed when I miss a trade than when I lose a trade, because I have control over the losses that I'm making. But if you miss a trade, that means you miss the opportunity to make money. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you are learning, when you have figured out one thing, keep putting it into action until it doesn't work anymore, right? You have to keep implementing it. You have to keep applying it. Keep applying it until it doesn't work anymore. Does that make sense? Hello, are we there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, good. So basically now, we have talked about how to confirm direction, right? Now, if you, for example, this is where now you can utilize H1. I use my H1 time frame for continuation trades. H1, M30, M15. No, I don't really use M30, but I use H1 and M15 basically for my continuation trade. Let me show you now, for example. Let's assume that you're not able to catch anything from here, right? Anything from here. But look at, this is another opportunity, right? Right? This was another, um, yeah, this was another opportunity. So if you look for a confirmation, you could have, um, oh my, what's wrong with this? Oh, okay, 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 okay. Sorry. All right. So do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jay, maybe you continue the previous example, right, from daily to H4.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay, sorry, I get carried away. My apologies, guys. Okay, so now, why is it? Why is it? All right, so now, daily, what's wrong? Why is my screen like this? Is it just me, or you guys are seeing some funny
Yeah, we are seeing two.
and all cleared out? All right, so now, like I said, if you are gonna refine your zone, it's gonna be, now you're playing day H4 to H4, no longer daily to daily. Is that clear?
Yes.
If you refine your zone to a H4 zone, now you're playing H4 to H4, not daily to daily. It is when a H4 breaks, then you can now focus on daily to daily. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying in essence is, if price comes to, let me look for a good example. That's not really a good example. Um, uh, my, Let me just continue, man. Okay.
I think daily and H4 is a good one because H4 gives an engulfing feel, right?
Yeah, yes. I'm sorry, guys. I'm coming. Let me go to the daily time frame. Oh, I cleaned up everything. Anyway, I think it's recorded, right? So you guys can always go back and see whatever I wrote there. So this is a daily, and then let's assume we refine it down to, H4. I hope this gives me the example I'm trying to show you guys. So this is a refinement to the H4, right? So let's go to the H1 and see what happened. Good. Now, we had an EF here on H1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although, let me be frank with you, I took this straight from here. Why? Because I have a lower time frame confirmation. But just for the sake of directional purposes and all that, let's focus on this, right? We had an EF here, meaning that we expecting price to continue on a downtrend, right? On H1, right? So we had an H1 EF, but then because this is a H4 zone, let me annotate um H4 zone, H4 zone. So let me ask you guys again. If we're playing off of a H4 zone, where are we expecting to take profit from in the first take profit?
H4 to H4, right?
Next
Good.
exposure.
So good. So are you seeing why price continued to push higher? Because even though we had an EF on H1, right? The EF tapped into what? A H4 opposing zone. So you cannot keep looking for sells. Why? Because for us, this is a daily zone. I hope you guys are really getting this. I just don't want to confuse you guys. This was originally our daily zone, right? This was our daily zone, right? And then we refined it to a H4 zone, right here. Now, when we refine this to a H4 zone, which is here, now we want to play H1 confirmation. But then if we're playing H1 confirmation, it means that we're playing into a next H4 zone, which is here, not to the next daily. Don't make that mistake. Just because you got a H1 confirmation does not mean it's going to go all the way down to the daily. Does that make sense? H4. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And why did price push higher from here? Why? Who can tell me?
H4 buy zone.
But why? Why?
The direction is an uptrend.
Good. So you expect that between this zone and this zone, if I'm going to take this sell zone, I'm not going to put the same lot size as this buy zone. Why? Even if price has hit this zone, before we can say, okay, now we're going on a bullish trend, this has to happen. The last what? H4. Are you saying, guys? The last H4 has to break. And that's what happened here, I think, before the downtrend continued. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? So this is when we now want to now look for daily to daily when this has happened. So you can take H1 trade, but just take note that it's going to be a short-term trade, especially if it's not in line with the major trend. Why? Because the major trend is still what? Bullish.
Bullish.
Good. So when price came right here, right, we buy. You can buy directly. You can look for lower time frame confirmation. And the truth is, lower time frame confirmations are more stronger when it's in line with the trend because there's not so much manipulation. That's what I've noticed. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even if you want to scalp, right? If you want to be a scalper, scalp in line with the trend. Let me give you an example. Scalp in line with what? The trend. This is the downtrend, right? We already have um had our confirmation that this is a downtrend. Why is it downtrend? Because we have an EF, right, on H4. So let me show you how you would have been scalping, right? Now you're going to be scalping H1 to H1. Look at this. You would scalp here. This is an engulfing cell. This is also an EF, right? This is how to utilize the lower time frame, right? And then this was broken. This was broken, and then we now continued buying. Now, why were we buying here? Let me show you guys. For H4 direction, we are looking for what? H1EF. Am I correct? Guys, are you with
Yeah.
me?
Yes.
So what happened here? Sorry, this is a H4 zone, engulfing buy. So to say, okay, price has to go from H4 to H4, this H4 zone, we must see what? H1 EF.
EF.
And that's what happened here, right? H1 EF happened, and look at the expansion. So each time there's an EF, guys, there's a massive expansion, because this is now a confirmation that these guys want to buy. And so there is always a massive expansion, like you guys have noticed. If you go to your charts, you're gonna see all these things, right? But before this happened, sorry guys, I'm coming. Before this happened, this movement happened. What happened here? I would still consider this more. I would still be more on the sells than the buy. Why? Who can tell me why, guys?
We had an EA and EF on H4.
Nope. Okay, that's part of the issue. That's part of but that's, put it in a more how do I put this now? Who else?
Because we're
Someone
on a
else should try.
downtrend. Because we're on a downtrend.
Exactly, guys. We're on a downtrend. So there's no point looking for buys until we have a change in structure. Just put this at the back of your mind, guys. Put this at the back of your mind. Let me talk as an SNR guy. Let me speak as an SNR guy. For buy, for buys, and this is for sale. Um, this, 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 this. This is basically the pattern we're trading. This is basically the pattern we're trading. And this was the missing piece. Even while I was trading SNR, when I learned with RFAC, the um the issue I had was that RFAC would teach that this is a zone, a sell zone, but you end up seeing price going deep into this. Why is price going into deep into this? Because there is an engulfing here. Most times there's an engulfing here. So if you take your sell here, most likely you're going to put your stop loss here, except if you use this lower time for confirmation. You're going to put your stop loss here, and are you saying that the risk to reward is not necessarily good and the stop loss is going to be large, right? So you have all this, but the whole engulfing system, and I was able to get my confirmation on what's happening, right? I realized that, oh, now we can no longer focus on the sell here. We can now ignore this. This is just a confirmation that trend has changed, and look for the engulfing and play. If you can play directly from the engulfing, you can even like Ego Solution, right? How he teaches. Oh, what's wrong with my mouth? If you have watched his videos, you see that a lot of times he will just refine his zone and just take it directly from that zone, right? So you can do that. What gives you that confidence to take the zones directly like that is because the trend has already been ascertained. You already know the trend, so it's going to always follow the trend. 90% of the time, try to always follow the trend. Okay, so you have to take into cognizance of this fact, and that's how you're gonna um really just focus and trade this thing. It's so simple, guys. Let me um sorry, let me forgive me. Let me cancel my replay. Yep, you constantly pay. So this is why last week I was buying. I mean, this is why this week I was buying. And look at the many opportunities, guys. That it was so crazy. H1 opportunities. There were lots of H1 opportunities. So what I'm trying to say in essence is when you have a direction panned out, when you know your direction, right, you can easily just trade the H1 time frame in line with your direction and look for your lower time frame confirmation as intraday setup, and you're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. So this is how I only use the H1 time frame for continuation setup. I don't trade H1 zone as it were, except if they're in line with the overall trend, because there are lots of H1s that you have traded this last week, this past week, in line with the major trend. A lot of H1s. Are you guys seeing? A lot of H1s that you could have traded. Price didn't come here, but I marked that zone. Doesn't matter. Price also didn't come here. I think it reacted to something here.
Check question here.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So let's say, right, you looking for a daily direction and then confirmation is on H4. Then the
Yeah.
entry zones you will look on H1, right?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay, so I'm trying to put all this together, right, in multi-time frame. So
Okay.
you look for a daily direction, all right, and then
Yeah.
H4 gives you a engulfing fill, which is a confirmation direction. And
Yep.
then after that, you will look for daily zones, sorry, H1 zones for entry, right?
That's not how I do it, but I'm just telling you that that's another way to do it.
Okay. So can you put an example, right, of how is the top-down approach like from daily to H4 and then what next?
Okay. Let's attempt to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to ask another question? I thought someone wanted to talk. All right, fine. Let's take this example let's take this as an example, right? If I mark this is how I do it, right? I mark my zone daily. First of all, I go to the daily time frame. Like I said, I don't mess with the weekly so much. When I go to the daily time frame, I mark my
Uh,
zone,
Bro, it's
right?
a H1 time frame.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Turn my phone. I have to go through. When I mark my daily zones, right? Daily is mostly just of the direction. Okay, just have it at the back of your mind. Like daily is like a good time for you to just focus on overall direction, because one thing that you know for sure is daily goes from daily to daily, weekly to weekly, monthly to monthly. People are just joining in. Okay, fine. Daily to daily, weekly to weekly, monthly to monthly, and all that stuff, right? Now, if you have a daily zone, a supply zone, or an engulfing cell, um, let's see, I don't know what this is, right?
Jay, maybe can
Let's
you adjust your
assume.
mic? Your voice is a bit low.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's loud
I
and
think
clear.
my AirPods are running low. That's why. My apologies. Can you hear me now, though?
Yeah, it's clear now.
Good. Now, what I was saying is, when I mark my daily sell zone, I'm looking for the next or nearest daily buy, and we have this right here. So let's assume that price had not gotten to this point, right? Yet, right? I'm gonna, when price gets into this zone, right? The next thing I'm looking for is where is price likely to go if it reacts from this zone. And then when I get my reaction, right? On H4, we had an EF. On H4, we had an EF right here, right? So this now confirms that this zone is selling. or this zone has held and we are looking for sell, right? Though
Mhm.
we're in this zone, if we don't have an EF here, there's no point looking for sell for buy. Does that make sense? But now let's assume that I went further to, just for the sake of me trying to, what's wrong with my mouth? Just for the sake of me trying to, what do they call this now? Refine, right? I did my refinement and I went to the H1, right? And I got an EF, okay? I got an EF, excuse me. I got an EF right here, right? So what this simply means is now I could either do one of two things. I could wait for a H4 zone, or I could play from an H1 zone for the sell. So in this case, we did not have, even though we had an EF on H1, we did not price tap into this H4 and continue. So we didn't have an EF to confirm that this was a zone to start selling from, looking for sell. Because now we're playing H1 TP at H4. Let me put it this way. Let me write, and so that I feel like I'm confusing you guys. Okay, so daily, um, where is this tool? Where I'm not so conversant with about. Yeah. I'm looking for the arrow tool. Somebody help me. I'm lost. Help me, guys. Help me. Arrow. That points to the right or to the left.
Arrow
There's something
marker.
like that,
The
right?
first one,
Is it here? Oh,
you know,
here. Okay, let's just use this, right? Daily sorry, um, daily to daily. This is the most important aspect of this. That's why I'm trying to stress this. Okay, this is the most important aspect. Once you figure out direction, right, every other thing is secondary. When you figure out direction, every other thing is secondary. Entry, you guys can figure out entries yourself, but it's so important that you figure out direction. So we have daily to daily, right? Now, for price to go from this level to this level, we must see a H4 break. That's basically it. We must see a H4 break. H4 break. How do they spell break? English is different. Now, same thing. We could replicate this same thing and put H4 to H4, right? H4 to H4. H4 to H4. H4. We must see a H1 and a H1 break. H1. So this has to be at the back of your mind every single time we come to the chart. Every single time we come to the chart, this has to be at the back of your mind. So when we say H1 break, H4 break, what are we talking about? We're talking about ES, right?
yes.
Good. So now, when I mark my daily zones, right? Sell, I look for the next daily buy zone, right? If I'm refining this, then I'm going to come to this. So when I'm refining this, I hope you know that though we're in the daily zone, like I said, we are no longer trading daily to daily. We're now trading H4 to H4. So now I'm looking for H1 break, right?
Yep, yep.
So, but now in order of priority, right, it depends on CMP. Just because we had an H1 break does not mean that and it was in a daily zone, which we were referring to H4, does not mean that we're going to go daily.
Yes. So for direction, right, I think we are clear. We understand the flow, but now after the confirmation we get for direction, right, how to look for entry is the next question.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Hello, you can hear us, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I think my connection just tripped a little.
So I was
So,
saying, right,
like I said,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying that for the direction, right, I think we all clear is that once the EF, we found an EF on confirmation time frame, then direction is confirmed. It will go to the next daily to daily or H4 to H4, right? After we have this
Good.
confirmation, where to look for entry, like which time frame, let's say we choose daily to daily, then which time frame we should look an entry and which time frame we should look for confirmation.
Okay, now, um, that's like my secret sauce. It's good once me to give up. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you guys an assignment. I'm gonna give you guys the idea
Yes,
behind it.
please.
Come again?
Give us assignments.
But I'm not a mentor and I'm not expecting you guys to submit it to me. I'm just giving you guys an assignment to go and practice on your own. Please don't text me asking me questions. I'm just doing this for free. I'm not really going to have that time to be doing all that. Okay. And for now, I don't plan on having a mentorship. I've not had a mentorship. I don't have a mentorship. People have been just, texting me. Um, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to avoid a lot of things. That's why I don't want to do any mentorship or whatever. I'm just trying to avoid the whole whatever mess that is going on in the industry. I don't know. I've tried to reconsider whether I should do that, but I don't know. Let's see how it goes. But I'm not gonna announce anything. Probably, I think one or two people who have been, on my case for quite a while, I probably would just do a mentorship session with them, and that's it. I don't know. I really don't know. But and I'm not gonna give you guys the whole sauce in terms of entry. To be honest, I think I've given a lot already. You know, so I'm just gonna give you guys the idea. If you guys think about it, you guys try to figure it out, and hopefully you guys get it. If you don't get it, fine. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm gonna do a mentorship, but
No, man, it's more than enough, man. Thank you very much.
you're welcome. So you guys, I don't know. To be honest, oof, what do you think about mentorship? Let me hear your opinion.
For
No one is
Forex,
talking.
I think mentorship is must to have, unless it's like you are in no man's land. Lah. Because for the beginners
Okay,
like us,
okay,
right, we don't know where to
okay.
go, what next,
Decision and
right?
put it out. Let me make a decision and put it out here, right? If you're interested, hit me up. If you're not interested, please don't hit me up, okay? Um, I'll see what I can do in terms of mentorship. Um, ah, God damn it, man. Well, if you're interested, hit me up privately. If you're not interested, that's fine. Like, um, let's move on. Let's move on. I don't want to talk too much about this. All right. So the idea is, if you understand direction, there is something that price does most of the time on the lower time frames in a zone before it moves. Now, this is the assignment. And after this, I'm going to call it a day. This is the assignment, guys. Listen so closely. If I mark this zone, I usually use the M15 for my entry, M15 and M5. There is something that price does on M15 and M5 in an H4 or H1 zone before the expansion happens. If you can figure that out, it happens most of the time. If you guys can figure that shit out, you guys have gotten the key. I'm going to repeat myself one more time, and we're going to call it a day, because I think that you guys have gotten the whole idea of direction, and that's really what I wanted you guys to get. There is something, once you have understood direction and you know where price is going to go to, or is likely going to go to, there is something that price does. The expansion happens in a zone on M15. I hope you know that price is fractal, of course. This is the thought that came to my mind before I went to do research and did a lot of examples and came up with my entry system. There is something, and of course, I started exploring Bollinger Bands and I incorporated it into my entry. Let me just put it out there. I incorporated Bollinger Band into my entry, and that's just for confirmation purposes, right? I wasn't using it before, but then I incorporated it, and I really saw a lot of value in Bollinger Band, and that's why I incorporated it. Aside that, other thing, this is the concept behind it. When price gets to a zone, when we have a direction, when price gets to a zone, there is something that price does before the expansion on M15 and M5. If you guys can figure that out, you guys can figure what that shit is, I promise you guys got the key. Because direction alone constitutes about, in fact, why trade if you do not know the direction, right? Doesn't make sense. So if you can figure that out, you've gotten 100% what I'm trying to teach. Right now, direction alone constitutes about 50 to 70%. In fact, 70%, 30% is just entry. Does that make sense?
It does. Please, can you tell us?
Sorry, I can't do that.
So what do we have to do? What do you have to do for you to? What do we have to do for you to reveal this secret? What do we need to do? Please. Please, I think this is the reason why most of us are here. Please. I'm begging you.
Oh my. I can't do that, to be honest. The reason why I can't do that is come again.
Sincerely, Jay, we're begging because that's the reason why
price created the
No, guys, I can't do that. I told the dude who is responsible for this Zoom that I was not gonna do that. It's a disservice to myself if I do that for free. And I'm not
price
even
creating here.
Come again?
Price creating EF on M5 or M15?
I don't know. Figure that out, bro.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to do my assignment, and then
good.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I'm gonna advise you guys to do that assignment. See, pick out like 50 to 60 examples. You're gonna figure it out. I promise you.
Okay.
I have a question regarding how you use the Bollinger Band.
That's part of my entry criteria, so I'm not giving that out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm not gonna do that because it took me a lot of time. It took me weeks, spanning into a few months to figure it out.
Bro, how to deal with the different broker charts?
Come again?
How to dealing with the different brokers chart on TradingView, like Oanda, Forex.com, FXCM. What do you use?
Quite honestly, I love to trade on my phone because I don't like too many testing on my desk. I love to trade on my phone because I don't have to be looking at too many data. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. So I use the broker on my phone to do most of my analysis, but it aligns so much with let me see, it was um let me see what broker this is. I don't know why this thing is not opening, man. I think it was okay. This is Owanda, right? Yeah, I think it's Owanda. Yeah, I marked it out. It's Owanda. Um, it aligns so much with Owanda. But one thing I'm gonna advise is stick to one broker or stick to one broker because sometimes they have different feeds. I remember it was last week. I uploaded a trade and somebody was asking me, oh, it has not reached the zone. Why did you take that trade? But in my broker, it had already reached a zone, right? So sometimes there's that lag, but don't be switching brokers because it's gonna get you confused, right? So just play with the details that's made available to you. Does that make sense? Hello? We there?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, to be honest, right? To be honest, is this simple. That's why I'm not trying to sound smart or bring out any shitty concept out there. There's nothing too difficult. There's nothing difficult about engulfing. You just have to understand two things. Number one, direction. Number two, entry. Those are the basic things. You forget about every other thing. And direction is about EF. Having engulfing field is so important. And then how you utilize time frame and the understanding of where price is likely to head to. Those are the things that you should understand. Once you understand that, entries is just a piece of cake. And how you're going to get your entries if you do this assignment that I asked you guys to do. Please and please, guys, don't don't do a disservice to yourself, right? Go and backtest. Go and look for 50 examples. How I did it before I figured it out. Let me tell you how I did it, right? I took screenshots of H4 time frame, M15, H1, M30, M5 time frames. I took all those screenshots, right? And I saved them. And then I took about 50 of them. So you can imagine how many screenshots I took. I have a folder. I had like um close to 500 screenshots in that folder. And I went one by one, going through each price movement and trying to figure out what happened on the lower time frame that made the price to expand. And so I did that for 50 examples, which were about 500 screenshots because I did H4, H1, M50, M30, M5 time frame. And that's how I was able to do this coming at this time, man. We're done, bro. So that's how I was able to figure out the entry. So I'm making it easier for you guys. You don't have to get all the time frames. All you need to do is to focus on M15 or M5, right? And try to figure out exactly what happened on those time frames that caused the price to expand. If you can figure that out, I promise you guys have gotten it.
Cool. Cool. Thank you.
So I hope you guys
Thank
are
you,
not
thank you.
angry with
Thank
me.
you very much.
Thank you. Thank
I
you
hope
so much.
I hope you guys are not angry with me, guys.
We're not.
No,
Well,
no,
I'm
no,
not.
no.
No, at all. No.
All right, good, 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 good.
Thanks a lot
So,
for your time, mate.
Thank you.
no, it's fine. It's fine. This is the first time I'm doing like a webinar kind of. Most people who have thought these systems are just my friends, and it was like a physical gathering. I've really not done anything online per se. So like this is a new experience for me, and it's kind of exciting, especially talking to people from all over the world. It's so beautiful, and I really do appreciate you guys for coming on this live and trying to learn. Um, most people come to the chat with the arrogance that I've watched 500 courses, so you can't tell me shit, but I respect you guys' humility in trying to learn. It speaks a lot about how much you want to improve. And please don't do a disservice to yourself by selling yourself short. You can actually figure it out, but you have to just put in the time, okay? So just try to put in the time and do what needs to be done. And for the ladies who are on this call, you guys are amazing. I mean, like, I'm not seeing any lady trader per se. So like, you guys, I mean, like, I was wild to hear some ladies speak. So I really do appreciate you guys and giving me the opportunity to do this, right? So it just came from me posting my charts, and then you guys are all here. So I really do appreciate you guys for believing in me, and I hope that you guys got value from what I just taught, and I hope that you guys will implement it in your trading, and I hope that you guys will kill it eventually. So yeah, so thank you so much. Do we have any questions or observations or whatever before I go out?
Well, there are a few questions on the chat. Can you
Go
read
ahead.
the chat? There's so many
Okay,
questions. Yeah,
on the
on the chat.
bad.
The chat. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I've not even checked that at all. How do I view that? I don't even see the option.
So you know where you have the participants? There's this, if you click on more, and then you have the
The
options
problem is I'm sharing my screen. Should I stop sharing my screen? Okay,
even without,
participant. Oh, yeah. I see it.
after the yeah, you can see more, and then the options are there.
I don't see any valuable question in the chat. Just
Yeah,
guy who's saying hi and good morning.
Let me just go through just so that. Thanks a lot, you guys. I'm Arafak student too. Oh, that's beautiful. Hi. Like you said, I don't think to see any questions. Please point it out if there are questions, because I'm not really seeing anything.
Someone was asking earlier how you pull your stop loss, and do you use cut loss and something like that? If you can explain that, please.
Come again? How I use my stop loss and what?
Yeah, how you use stop loss.
Yeah, I don't like to use stop loss, and the reason why I don't like to use stop loss is, you know how gold can be. Gold is so volatile that it can take out your stop to go to. So most time I just observe, right? I already know what I'm willing to risk on that trade. So I just observe the zone on my lower time frame, right? That I'm entering on. It breaks and closes. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Hello? Okay. So
yes,
if it breaks my zone and closes above my zone, that makes the zone invalid. If it breaks and closes above my zone, that makes the zone invalid. Okay, so that's basically what I do. Of course, there are times where it overshoots and you just have to close really fast. And thank God for MT5 where you can close all your positions at once. So that happens occasionally, you know, but of course, that's part of the risk of trading. There is no fresh or unfresh zone. It's called EG or EF if not respected. Exactly. I don't really do the whole fresh zone on fresh zone because I mean a zone can react 5, 4, 3 times. It doesn't matter. The zone is just a zone as far as I'm concerned. Trend has been bearish. What's happening? King Zofan, what's your entry model? TC refined zone. DEG refined. I don't know what all that trade control. I don't know what that is. Is this session will be uploaded? I don't know. Sorry, I'm just going through this.
Another question. Can I ask?
Okay, go ahead, please.
Have you tried indices or like US stocks using this engulfing system? Does it work really good like gold in other pairs?
Quite honestly, when I started trading RFX style of trading SNR, I just switched completely to 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 gold. I have really not gone through any other pair for whatever reason. Like if you look at my phone, you're only gonna see gold, right? So I don't really trade all that. But the only thing that I trade, and that's because I was bored during one weekend and I was looking for opportunities just to trade during the weekend and just make extra cash. And I looked at Derive for um big 75, all those big I don't know what they call synthetic indices, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
that's only where I have really, and bro, guys, that's the next gold mine. I don't post a lot on indices on the chat, but bro, I make a lot of my money on indices. Why? Because there's no news. And when it starts a trend, bro, it's just gonna keep going. So like if you guys want to switch to indices, you can, and volatility indices, you guys can do that, man. That shit, that's a gold mine. I promise you, with engulfing, bro, sheesh. Sheesh, man. That's all I can say.
You are talking about this boom and crash and volatility indexes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Those are really good. They move really well.
Exactly. Exactly. I just found that out last month and I've been killing it there.
So what broker do you use? Because I've never seen that on a normal
Those
broker. Is
pairs
there a
are
specific?
on deriv,
Sorry,
Come again?
deriv.
Derive,
can you
yeah,
write it on?
derive, Deriv or something like that. Just go to your phone and go to your MT5 and
Uh-huh.
um you could search for Deriv broker. But of course you have to go to their site and register and do all that stuff.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
somebody can help you with that.
All right.
There you
Thank
go.
you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, somebody said CMP is everything, guys. Once we get confirmation EF, then we take entry. It sounds stupid, but do research. Hmm. Okay, good. I love that. Same process we do to confirm direction is the same, and the last process we do for entry. I can't understand why this guy doesn't want to speak it. Life is short, just be straight to the point. Hmm. Okay. Everybody with their opinion. It seems like that. Guys, for those of you who are offended why I'm not showing it, to be honest, I don't give a damn. I don't give a fuck about that. Right? I'm I'm sorry I'm swearing, but man, these are the kind of things that I try to avoid. That's why I don't do mentorship, because a lot of people say a lot of things that does not just make sense. But I mean, at the end of the day, not everybody can, you know, feel the same way. I respect that. So that being said, I guess it is safe to say that we're done for this, right?
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
correct. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah. And what's sorry, the guy who owns this um
Yeah, yeah,
who's
yeah,
like
I'm
the
here.
all right, man. Thank you so much, guy. What's your name again? Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Nawaf.
Noah. Where you
Yeah.
from?
I'm from India. I live in Malaysia, KL.
Bro, you live in Malaysia?
Yeah.
Dude, why don't you meet those dudes? Those dudes are crazy, man. Those dudes are I
Yeah, I
mean,
try to find them, but they are like hidden under different names, lah.
oh, really? Oh, that's sad. I actually wish I could speak Malay, to be honest. There is some of the mentorship that I wanted to enroll for with, some time back, and they were only speaking Malay. And for some of you who know Ola, how many of you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
know
yeah.
Ola?
I
Yeah,
wanted to
he
join his
doesn't
mentorship, but he
he
only
doesn't teach in
teaches in
English.
Malay.
Yeah, he does only in Malay. That's like it. But that guy is really good, man. I'm not, man. That guy is really good. I went through a lot of his his that was where I got the idea to go and really do this research for how to enter, because I went through a lot of screenshots a lot of the screenshots. Like I've been following for quite a long time, so I went through a lot of the screenshots, and there were certain similarities. Right now, he just posts profits, but back in the day, he posted like his entry, so you could easily see some similarities. And I went back on my own to do a lot of research, and then I got it. So yeah, he is a great mentor, but I don't know him personally, but he doesn't speak Malay, and I'm sorry, he doesn't speak English. He only speaks Malay, and well, I wish I could speak Malay. At that time, I really wish I could speak Malay. And if you notice, guys, for you guys who follow him, if you notice, the dude uses 0.01 and holds those trades for days and catch. I mean, he posted recently and he made about 20 something $1,000 off of 0.01s.
Yeah, that's because another thing is the leverage is very high. They use some brokers that have like 1,000 leverage. So
No,
even when they use
obviously, what I'm trying to say in essence is the 0.01 per trade was given about $500 or $300 for a 0.01 per trade. So what I'm trying to say is, how many pips do you need to get to $300 or $400, $500 on a 0.01? That's a lot of pips. Why is he able to do that? Is because he knows direction. So when you know direction, you can easily hold your trades for so long. Like I said, I've been holding this trade from here. As I could send a screenshot if you guys want to see. I've been holding one trade position from here. I think I've been holding one position from here. I closed all my positions after NFP, after I cut this by all these positions that I took here, but I'm still holding this one here, and I think this one here or something like that. Why? Because of direction. And H4 time frame, guys, focus on H4 time frame because there are less noise on H4 time frame in terms of direction. Once we have an EF on H4, there's a very big chance that price is going to continue in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah, so H4 time frame is a really, really good time frame to focus on when you're talking about direction. You seldom have fake out on H4 time frame. So take that into account. And that's why I really focus on H1 daily, more on H4 anyways, but H1 daily. Okay. Seldom H1. H1s, like I said, don't forget, guys, H1 is for directional continuation. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So somebody's just coming in right now. I mean, we're done, so there's no point, right? So guys, thank you so much. Please, God, what's your name again? Dude, I keep forgetting. Nawaf. Yes, please. If you guys want to keep the group, well, I don't know, you guys can, but I'm going to be leaving the group immediately after this call. So if you guys want to keep the group, you guys can keep the group and keep discussing on the group and keep sharpening yourself and whatever. You guys can also do group calls to backtest together. You guys can also do group calls to, sharpen your entries together. Okay, so you guys can actually do that. There's no harm in doing that. So, but I'm going to leave immediately after this call. Okay.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
work. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Thanks.
Yeah,
You already shared enough and a lot, so don't feel bad. All right.
Yeah. So it's fine. It's fine. No, I know that there are a lot of good
We really
people out here.
appreciate
So
that.
I'm not even
Like,
bothered about the two guys who
thank
just
you.
want to see whatever. So
Bless
yeah,
you,
guys.
man.
Thank you. I wish you all the best, and I wish you a
Thank
profitable week
you. You
ahead.
too.
All right, thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.